Man, if you've been keeping up with 2K, you know, Joe Knows has been trying to push a movement to get cheaper VC, which I totally agree on. But the thing is, people are divided on something as simple as VC. And I have to take that VC can stay the same price, just make, you know, stuff in the game cheaper. A build should not be $100. Clothes should not be 15,000 VC just to get a jacket. That's stupid. No one wants that in the game. But people are saying that they're a business, they have to make money. But I actually think if they made in-game stuff even cheaper, it would push people to spend even more money than what they are now. You don't want to sit there and look at the screen and be like, oh, I have to spend $100 just to even max this build out, or 50 to even get it to like an 84, 85 overall just to even compete in the park or wherever you're going to play. For example, Fortnite has a thing where if you buy VC, you get money back depending on how much you spend. I think you spend like $5, you maybe get like $1 back or something. That's good. That goes to your Epic rewards, and the next time you spend money, you get money off. So you basically get rewarded for spending money outside of, you know, the cosmetics that you're going to be buying. Also, they got to make VC, you know, more earnable. Like, micro shouldn't be the only thing that, you know, consistently gives you a good amount of VC. And honestly, micro doesn't even give you really that. You still have to grind it for 2 to 3 weeks to a month. And especially if you're employed and this is the only game you play, it's going to take a month. And this is the only game you can play if you want to grind a build out with no money spent. So eventually people just, you know, spend the money. And also that leads to lower retention for 2K. Most people I think quit 2 to 3 seasons in. And man, if you're one of these guys that think it's too late, you know, for VC, just at least try, you know, and especially if you actually play 2K a lot. Like if you're somebody that plays 2K a lot and still thinks it's too late, just, you know, try, man. Like 2K, we've never actually came together about this problem. So why not just try at least once to maybe get some difference? The game hasn't came out yet. There's still time for at least 27 to get some change. And if not 27, at least 2K28 when we get that. Just at least try. Like everyone just needs to come together and try. And especially if, you know, I see a lot of people saying they're going to grind their first builds without, you know, spending money. And I think I'm going to do that too. And if everyone can do that, everyone can honestly do that, I think it'll, you know, make a big change. I'm pretty sure like only 20% to 35% of 2K's revenue is actually the game itself. The rest is microtransactions. So even if everyone still buys the game, as long as you don't buy VC, that's still like so much of their revenue gone. And that will literally make them change the game. Yeah, it's a business, but at the end of the day, if they lose money, their business, they have to change their business practices and change the game catering to us now, the players. And we have the power. They don't have the power. We don't cater to them. They cater to us. And if you still don't think it's possible, college football literally just did it. They literally just made EA. And if you know EA, you know they're not the greatest company. They forced EA's hand to change their business practices. They were trying to implement, you know, microtransactions into an offline mode, and no one bought it. And, you know, this isn't just to take out VC of the game. I think VC, you know, it sucks, but they need to meet players in the middle. Right now, all it is just a vacuum for money. That's all it is. It's just microtransactions. You have to buy this, or you can't compete unless you spend hours and hours and hours on the game. If 2K can meet us halfway, and if we can force them to meet us halfway, they will have to. They just need to make things in the game cheaper, like cosmetics, upgrading your builds, stuff like that, the main things. My team's a whole different story. I think that's basically gambling, but for at least micro, they could meet people halfway. And if you're someone like me that likes to make builds, it sucks because you can never just, you know, make a new build. They need to make something where you can respec a build and get at least half your VC back. And that would just make a lot of people, you know, play the game longer. You want to experience the game with different builds. You don't want to sit there on your first build and only use that throughout the whole year. So they at least need to make, you know, respecing a thing. And I see a lot of people talking about that. And I think it could be really good for the game. For 2K too, I think, you know, more people would spend money if you could do that. And also more people would play the game longer if you can do that. Because if you got 2 builds and a point guard and a center, and you want to play, you know, small forward or shooting guard, you got to spend money to even do it or grind for hours. And a lot of people just don't even end up doing that. So let me know what you think. I think if you really truly care about 2K, you would agree with Joe on this and at least try. But yeah, I mean, that's it. If you want to try to, you know, push something else for 2K, something different, some different prices of in-game currencies and stuff, buy the game, it's fine, but you know, try to not buy VC because that's where they make most money. So if you don't buy VC, you're helping the community.